Hello and welcome back. Bonjour to episode 2 of Flat in Fifth. I'm Tim Hill. I'm joined once again by Sir Maximus Weatherly.
Hello.
And Sir Henry Smith.
Bonjour.
Lots to cover this week on this episode. Thank you very much for tuning, for those who did, into episode 1. If you haven't seen it, what are you doing? Go and have a look at it. If you enjoy what you like over the next however long, please do feel to like, subscribe,
and all those
share,
things.
all those kind of things.
Bicker in the comments.
In the comments. That's great for the algorithm. So please do. If we did offend a few people last episode, I feel.
Did we?
Yes,
You sure?
we did. Henry managed to offend everybody who is a toilet attendant in supermarkets.
No,
Henry, have you got any apology for those people this week?
Not really. In fact, I've got the opposite. I've actually got a promise that I'll probably offend more people and more establishments at some point.
Brilliant. Yeah, I mean, if it's not Henry, it's certainly going to be me or Max. Max managed to offend anybody who uses automatic headlights.
Bastards.
Specifically his own parents.
Love you both.
And I managed to offend... Who did I manage to offend?
I don't know. Do you offend?
People who watch Towie.
Yeah.
Oh,
you did
okay.
that.
I did
But
do
they're
that.
not people. They're subclass. It doesn't
Also,
matter.
no apology. So there we are. Quite a few bits to cover this week, but we'll crack straight on with news.
Ooh.
News because we've got a couple of bits of news to go through. But Henry, you said there was something you wanted to add into the news straight away. What was that?
What's happened, Hen?
Important motoring news.
Oh, right.
So I was looking at news the other day and I stumbled across an article on The Guardian, a
As you do.
fairly respectable outlet of news. I mean, better than the Daily Star, for example. And it was an article saying that astronomers have discovered the brightest object in the universe.
What? What's that got to do
They've
with anything
discovered
we're
the
doing
brightest
here?
object in the universe.
They have. Stick with me.
Okay.
And it's apparently a quasar. That absorbs black holes and stuff like that. And it's
Okay, what's this got to do with motoring, Henry?
well, they're wrong. It's sloppy journalism from The Guardian.
Oh, dear.
Incredibly sloppy. I expected them
Guardian
to...
makes the
Bloody
list.
NASA getting things wrong again.
The point is, I expected The Guardian to hold themselves to a slightly higher standard of journalism than what they have done.
Let us down.
But they haven't, because they are wrong. The brightest object in the known universe, as we all know, is the Audi e-tron GT's headlights.
Oh, there's the link. Right, okay.
Right. So you're suggesting that they're brighter than the recently discovered supernova?
Yes.
Right.
They are if they're behind you or coming on the other way.
So is that just all Audis,
good.
or is it the Audi e-tron specifically?
LED factor. Ugh.
Mainly the e-tron GT, I think. Now,
Yeah.
I was driving down a country road a few weeks ago, and an e-tron GT was coming the other way. The reason I knew it was an e-tron is because it was about 3 light years away, and I was still being blinded to the point where my retinas were turned to dust.
Oh, dear.
And I'm now taking a weekly prescription of iodine to counteract the effects of gamma radiation that I received from the headlights.
Shit.
Oh dear.
So anyway, Guardian, sort your shit out. You're wrong.
Yeah, okay. And wishing you a full recovery from your eyesight issues.
Did your doctor recommend beer as a kind of like
He
supplement?
did actually, weirdly enough. Yeah.
Yes.
good.
The beer that we're, again, still not allowed to say what we're drinking, and it's definitely not Hawkstone.
It's definitely not. But it is a session beer, and it is definitely made by a journalist who
And it is
did
fucking
cars or something. He's a farmer now, some say.
But yes, no, welcome back to Nico's Bar here in sunny Kent. It was pissing it down earlier when we were
lovely
rehearsing
now.
for this. Luckily, it's brightened up. We do have podcast dog, who is off shot, who's sleeping at the moment, but no
thank
doubt
God.
she'll make an appearance at some point.
Yeah.
And knock the camera again. We have other little bits of news that we need to cover as well. Some bad and very sad news.
Oh, dear.
Really, really bad news. Really tragic news, I think, for all of us, but mostly him, because he was going to buy one. Hyundai are axing the i20N/i30N. They're not going to make it anymore.
Oh, fuck my life.
This is very, very sad.
What
news.
arguably one of the best hot hatches available now and how there has
Definitely.
ever been. No, not anymore. Can't get it.
Why? It's a
Get rid of
rally
it.
car.
It's the silliest hot hatch of them all, is it not?
It's got anti-lag.
It has got anti-lag.
Anti-lag from the factory.
And for people that don't know what anti-lag is, we're not going to bore you with the explanation. Well, that's turbo flutter, but related nonetheless. For people who are not aware of what anti-lag means, go on YouTube and I'm sure there'll be someone with a beard and a clipboard and a whiteboard who explain to you what anti-lag is.
I prefer just watching rally videos of Thierry Neuville. To be honest, that explains anti-lag to me.
It's just pure noise, and that's the best thing about it. But, for all intents and purposes, the layman's explanation is it's just fuel being injected into the exhaust, exploding and keeping the turbo spooling. But the best explanation of it is it makes silly noises and it's funny.
But the big question remains: if Hyundai are getting rid of the i30 and the i20N, what is Thierry Neuville going to drive in rallying? I mean, is rallying all going electric? Surely not.
Oh, don't say something as stupid as that. That just makes me feel.
We have had
I'm going to be sick.
first-hand experience of this when we've gone and watched
Max is about to kill himself
racing many times, and we're used to seeing the standard supercars making silly anti-lag noises.
Yep.
But unfortunately, in recent times, we have started experiencing the RX-1E electric supercars, which basically is a field of very quick Whirlpool washing machines racing around a fucking track.
Full spin cycle.
Full spin cycle.
high
Very
performance
fast.
indicits.
Driven by geniuses in washing machines.
Yes, but washing machines
Actually,
nonetheless.
I seem to remember watching the Five Nations as a spectator the last couple of years. Actually, the Five Nations British Rallycross.
The Lyddon Hill Championship.
The Lyddon Hill Championship. And I seem to remember they entered in the supercar series. They have been entering an electric supercar in the last couple of years, and it always loses. So essentially, petrol is still better than electricity. Then, surely
It looks like a whale trying to go around the corners when you compare
heavy,
it
innit?
to the correct combustion engine supercars.
it's so undramatic as well. Even standing at T1 at Lyddon and watching the supercars go past, which just sound like glory as they go past, and spitting flames and brimstone and everything else.
Absolutely.
And then the electric Mini goes past, and it's just such a non-event. Like,
when you're sitting in the front room on a windy night next to your fireplace and you get that occasional gust of wind that goes down
the chimney, yeah.
That's
So exactly
basically what they sound like.
Yeah, spot on analogy, actually. Yeah, the thing for me is that, okay, yes, sure, it's a great solution. We don't want to use up all the oil, blah, blah, blah. It is still not the answer. It is far off from the answer. It will kill motorsport off if everything goes like it.
Well, it's killing the i30N off and the i20N off.
It's killing everything off, though, isn't it?
Alpine have
Thanks,
said as
Elon.
well that their next A110 will be electric as well.
Wrong.
Yeah,
Wrong.
as well. I get it as it's an assist to make petrol cars or combustion engines more efficient because it helps. It assists, it adds more power, it adds that little bit more of versatility in the sense of when you're taking a supercar around and it's got that hybrid factor round like a small village, you don't want to have fucking V10s going everywhere. Instead, you can go poodle around electric. Cool. That works.
I don't know, I do
That's all
definitely
it
want
is,
V10s.
though. That's all it is, and it's an assist. Is it the answer? Is it the solution to petrol and combustion engines? Nowhere near.
Well, Max, that brings us neatly on to the next piece of news, and I could
Fantastic.
scarcely believe
a
what
link.
I was reading.
Just before we do get
Oh
on
no,
to that, though,
we're not quite there yet. Go
I
on.
just want to say the i30N, first of all, it's just a brilliant car. That's the end of the
You
argument.
better hurry up
Yeah,
and get
full
one.
stop.
But
Innit?
I will.
Now or never, man.
The prices are probably going to go through the fucking roof
Yeah,
now, but
probably
never
are.
mind about that. But the thing that really saddens me about the i30N is Hyundai never had anything equivalent before.
No.
They've not got a history of making hot hatchbacks.
No, they have not.
Not like Volkswagen with the Golf
Rallying did that.
GTI. They've come out of nowhere. They've made one amazing album,
Yeah.
and then died. It's basically Jeff Buckley as a car,
Yeah.
which is not the first comparison of musicians.
We're
We're
gonna
going to
have-
find out
yeah.
later on.
We'll get on to more on that. Yeah, but yeah, the other thing that it kind of follows neatly on from our disgust of electricity. Yeah, I read in the news the other day that Mazda And I don't know how
We
pissed
like
they
Mazda.
were when they were in this meeting.
Jeff was there.
Yeah, clearly
Oh, was
Jeff
he?
was there. Jeff will be on next week, hopefully, when he's back from Japan, clearly from this meeting. Mazda are bringing back the rotary engine.
Spicy Doritos making a return.
Yes.
Oh,
In this
bizarre.
world of electricity and efficiency and sustainability, Mazda have gone, no, stop it. Let's make the rotary.
Put some oil in it.
There's your catchphrase again. Yes, this is true. Mazda have commissioned a 36-strong team
Oh.
Oh.
specifically.
One
to
of those is
develop-
Jeff.
One of them is definitely
So
Jeff.
35.
We have unconfirmed reports. It is Jeff, but they are confirmed.
Bring
as we'll
the
probably find out.
fucking spicy Dorito back.
A 36-strong team developing specifically the rotary engine.
Excellent.
They're all going to be extremely drunk,
Of course they are. They have to be.
but there is
Saki.
one massive problem with it now. We're not going to be seeing another 787B, which will now be playing in post, and you can all enjoy the appreciation of a rotary engine.
Oh, what a moment.
I've got to cross my legs a little bit more after that.
I'm just being honest about it.
But
Anyway.
yes. Oh, I've got to adjust my position.
Anyway,
after that.
so what you're saying is they're not making it as an actual road car engine?
Yeah, so we're not going to see another RX-7 or an RX-8.
Oh,
or
I didn't read that
787.
far
Mad.
down in the article. I was too excited.
They're
Sorry.
going to be using the rotary engine as an onboard generator
What?
for electric cars.
Okay. All right. It seems an interesting solution to a problem that
That
doesn't
didn't exist. Yeah. They've self-created a problem there.
So they're
because-
using the spicy Dorito form of combustion to power a generator to power an electric motor.
Yes.
with a
which-
less efficient generator because you have to put loads of oil in it.
It is. It's a very interesting thought, really, and this is why Jeff was definitely there when they done it, because let's think about
more oil.
the fundamental principles of a rotary engine. They're
Oil.
they use a lot of oil, they're expensive to rebuild.
Oil.
They've got, I think,
petrol.
less thermal efficiency compared to a standard combustion engine.
Oil?
They use a lot of oil, and they've got no torque. So now let's look at electric cars, right? The founding
oil.
principles of those. Yeah, they use lots of oil. Now, electric cars, the people that like electric cars, they like to talk about the immense torque that you've got off the line. They like to talk about the efficiency and the range of them, and how
Range.
they're saving the world by driving a car
yeah.
of various manufacturers. Now,
Elon.
if you're going to, we didn't hear that. We've just
Sneezed,
offended
sorry.
him as well.
I've just sneezed.
You get the bus. Now, if you're going to have an onboard generator on an electric car, you would try and choose the most efficient, least expensive, method of charging your.
I think you're using logic there.
I am using logic.
Ah, right.
This is where the logic disappears.
Oh, good.
No, what we want to do is we want to put a less efficient engine that uses lots of, what was it again, Tim?
Oil.
Oil, yes. We're going to put one of those in an electric car because that's going to make it way more efficient and way more easy to run.
100%.
Well, it'll be interesting to see what Mazda come up with there. I mean, I'm not personally a massive rotary fanboy, but I have had a long. I mean, we all said last week we all said that we grew up with Gran Turismo, and one of the Gran Turismo poster cars, definitely from our childhood, was the RX-7.
Oh, yeah.
And the silly noises it made. Part of me would love to run one for a week, get scared about the oil, and then just run away from the entire experience. But it'd be interesting to see how Mazda kind of go through with this. Because I just want them to make another RX-7. Can they
They
do
should.
that? They're not allowed to do that anymore, are they?
It would be interesting to own
I mean,
an
Toyota
RX-7.
did the Supra
Yeah.
and gave it a 3.5 litre V6 or 3 litre V6 twin turbo. Can't Mazda also make another RX-7
Wouldn't that be nice?
with a rotary?
Or another 787B and take it racing instead of turning it into a generator.
Oh, and then we can hear it all again.
Life's just better that way. Shit's just-
Anyway,
That is good, isn't it? It would be interesting to own an RX-7 though, because the funny bit would be having a car that uses so much oil that America tried to invade it every year.
That would be good. Yeah.
right, well,
Moving on.
Moving on.
Moving away from illegal wars.
Moving on.
I've insulted an entire country
We
this week.
touched on it
Maybe
earlier.
in the UN.
We touched on it earlier, but if cars are musicians, we've had literally, we've had a question that literally some people have asked.
Well,
And
thousands
I'll
of questions.
pass it over to Henry, who'll introduce this segment. Because
did, yes, we had
it did get us thinking.
We had an official WhatsApp message from someone who picked up on the fact that last episode rather, that we just briefly mentioned that we are all of a musician persuasion and that we do music things. And they have written in and asked us, you mentioned on the last episode that you were all musicians. So I wanted to know your opinion on what these cars would be if they were musicians. Interesting question, I
A
think.
very good, interesting
Very
question.
interesting
What are the
question.
cars in question, sir?
Right, so I have the cars here and I've taken the liberty of already sort of putting my
Talk us through.
answer for what
Talk
I
us through.
think they'll be.
Yeah, okay.
So first of all, we've got the Lamborghini Huracan Performante.
Ooh, shiny, loud, fun, exciting. It's a little bit silly as well, isn't it?
Exactly.
We like all those things.
The answer is Muse because the Performante is
Yeah, that makes
perfect
sense.
in every conceivable way.
Yeah,
Yes.
makes sense. Yeah.
I'd
Sum
go with
that
that.
up.
Yeah, and rather like Muse, the Performante, or the Huracan, comes in many different variants over many different years, some
Oh, yeah,
better than
including the
others.
Rally one as well, isn't there now?
Yes.
Indeed, which the Sterato,
Sterato.
which I didn't really know about, I must confess, until I watched the latest Grand Tour episode, which is now available on Amazon Prime.
Yes, yeah, they need
We
the
like to
promotion.
advert them.
They definitely need the
They,
promotion.
they featured a picture of it at the start, and I fell in love with it straight away. What a machine!
I put it to you,
absolutely.
gentlemen. Feel free to argue with me here, but I actually think that the Huracan Sterato is the perfect car for the British roads.
And your logic there
I'm
is...
sorry.
Hear me out. So you've got your Huracan, maybe the Performante,
Yeah.
maybe just a standard GTO or whatever, right? But you're trying to use it in the UK. Oh, wait, there's a
around
pothole. Oh,
Knoxbridge.
wait, there's a speed hump. Oh, wait, the roads are really narrow. Oh, it's raining. Oh, I don't want to take my Huracan out. Now imagine you've got a Huracan that can tackle all of those things and you can drive it through fields. Perfect. V10, it's a Lambo, but you can take it everywhere. I'm just saying it's the perfect car for the British roads. Never again will be concerned about taking your Huracan through a traditional B road. It'll be fine.
One issue though, you did say the road is too narrow. You know, on the Sterato, they've bolted extra bits to the outside of it, so
gossip about that.
it's actually
Wider and
wider than
higher.
a standard Huracan.
Wider.
They'll
and
get
higher.
out of your way. You know, you're in
I think-
you're in an off-road Lamborghini. I think people are just going to throw themselves into a hedge for you to get
Sure,
past.
but the main worry about driving any kind of supercar, therefore Lambos, let's say, as they are in question, hasn't necessarily been, oh, I'm worried about driving it down the road. It's other people coming the other way, for example, meaning you have to duck it into a bush.
It'll be fine. It'll go through the bush.
Sure, yes. So would a normal Huracan or any other Lambo, however. So what makes that one, in your eyes, more bushable?
It's just designed to go off-road, isn't it? It'll be fine.
Right, so if it gets scratched to shit and bits
Yeah,
fall off,
it'll
it makes
suit
no
it.
difference in that
It'll
sense because
suit
it's a
it.
rally car.
Yeah.
No, actually, that is the kind of logic I can
It's
tap
fine. We've got a
into.
solution
Yeah.
to this
I think
because
it would look better if it's scratched up, to be honest.
Actually, yeah.
if all the
rally car should be.
morons out there heed your advice and get the bus, there won't be any of these idiots to deal with and worry about. Therefore, we've fixed the UK roads.
Yeah.
But anyway,
imagine a road full
Everyone
of
buy a
them.
Huracan Sterato. There we go. Problem solved.
yep, there we go. I mean, we've
Everyone work harder, buy one.
Right, anyway, moving on. So there was another car
gone for
that
the
you,
population.
and this is a particular.
somewhat of a bugbear, perhaps.
Why
The
is
next
everyone
one
cringing?
is the Vauxhall Corsa.
Oh, melt.
God.
There we go. I felt the mood change straight away.
So known as the Corsa vomit.
Now, I think the Corsa is essentially Cliff Richard. In the sense that it has been around for far too fucking long.
Yeah.
And every time you see or hear one, you get irrationally fucking irritated.
Yep,
annoying to look
that's a
at,
very good one. And also, rather like Cliff Richard, I don't want to be around it. I certainly don't want to be in it. That's for sure.
Oh, God, that's a horrible fucking thought. We're not going to put a post picture of that.
Just die.
And also very much like Cliff
Yeah, when is the
Richard,
Corsa going to die?
Just fuck off and die.
Die. Anyway,
much like Cliff Richard
Can
as
we,
well.
can we move on already? I'm already pissed off.
No, we're staying on the Corsa for the moment.
Oh, mad.
Stick with me. Unfortunately, like Cliff Richard, who has released, I think, approximately 1
1904.
billion albums, the Corsa has had about, I think, 1 billion special editions that are not remotely fucking special.
None of them are.
yeah.
Anyway, we'll move on to the next
Thank
one
you.
because I can see the vomit forming in your mouths at this point.
That was not
Right.
good.
Next item on the agenda is
believe we
the
mentioned
Skoda Yeti,
Oh, yeah.
Ah,
which we are
that makes everyone feel better.
all a fan of.
Oh, I'm feeling better already.
I know, that's
Yeah.
the best
Thank
remedy.
you. It's going to be sick. Ugh,
So,
yes.
if Skoda Yeti was a musician, who would it be?
It will be John Deacon from Queen.
Yes.
Like
Because
that.
if you passed John
that.
Deacon in the street, you probably wouldn't think twice. Unless you're a real hardcore fan, you probably wouldn't notice. He was just a
No.
regular man walking down the road.
Understated legend. Love it.
But
Great analogy.
fucking good at absolutely everything. Much
Icon.
like the Yeti.
Yeah,
You walk past a
absolute
Yeti, most people wouldn't even look twice. It's just a car.
But it's brilliant at
But we
everything
know
it does.
it's great at everything.
Yeah. I totally get on board
like
with this. You know, Skoda Yeti, Deacon, talented as hell at most things, but
Yep.
very understated and always there, always reliable.
Maybe Skoda should go a Deacon edition.
I think so.
They should do a Deacon edition.
Even better then, wouldn't it?
Unlike a Corsa, that would actually be a special edition.
Yeah, hey, well, hey.
Boy, yeah. Shots fired.
Anyway, before we get back to Corsas,
Yeah.
The next one.
Yes.
Prepare yourselves, ladies and gentlemen, for Henry to rant.
yes, now I am aware this one is going to cause somewhat of a debate and maybe a bit of a ripple amongst the car
Feel free
enthusiast
to argue in
community.
the comments. We will totally ignore you.
Yeah, go and bicker in the comments. Now, I will preface this by saying I'm a Jaguar enthusiast. I love Jaguars. I own a classic Jaguar. I've worked for a Jaguar
Yeah,
specialist.
which Jaguar is it you hate, Henry?
It's the E-Type.
E-type Jag, eh?
It is the E-Type, yeah. Now, I think the E-Type is the car version of the Beatles,
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
which
We've gone
will
there.
create as well a debate amongst music people as well. So we've got a double argument going on here.
It's lovely. I like
And
it.
I'm sure people
We've
with
offended
pitchforks
so
are
many
going to come
people in
after me.
such a short
Right,
space
yeah.
of time. That's brilliant.
I think that's what we're here for.
Yeah.
Now, the reason being, right now, stick with me. I think the Beatles. I'm glad they exist.
Yeah.
They pioneered a whole movement of music, a whole new
Yeah,
generation.
absolutely.
You know, a lot of the bands around today that we love probably trace their ancestry back to the Beatles.
Liverpool didn't
okay?
exist before the Beatles.
Same as the E-Type. I'm glad it existed. You know, it is a beautiful car. I won't deny that. But it's overrated. It's not that great to drive. They're very powerful, but much like the Beatles, I just don't like them.
Yeah.
No, I don't disagree with you on that one.
Yeah, you actually have driven an E-Type, and I can't remember what it was
You
exactly
poor
you said
sausage.
about the brake pedal or the clutch pedal, but I don't remember you being gushing about it. Something to do with a foot going through a double-story house or something like that. I
Yeah,
can't-
the clutch went in the middle of Greenwich. Anyway, should
Nice.
we move on? Also, would like to say I have worked on E-Types. I have driven them. I've not owned one, but I worked at a Jaguar specialist. Hi, Andrew. And I've worked on a few of them. They're horrible to work on. They're not very nice to drive, and they're just overrated. And you know what? I know what's going to happen. There's going to be some man in the comments now that it's typing as we speak. Enzo Ferrari said it was the prettiest car in the world.
Yeah, he didn't say what it was like to drive, though, did he?
No, he didn't. And do you know what Enzo Ferrari also said once?
What was that?
Well, not so much something that he said, but something that he did. He refused to let a person buy a Ferrari because it was a woman.
Well, that's a respectful opinion we should definitely listen to.
They conveniently leave that bit out when they're doing their whole argument. So all I'll say is people that have never driven an E-Type,
Christ.
people that never worked on an E-Type, people that don't know anything else about an E-Type other than that one thing, get a new fact.
Yeah, no, just, yeah. Enzo was a wise man.
I mean,
And a massive sexist.
Sarcasm. I really made that clear.
he made some fucking fabulous cars, though, didn't
He did. But yeah. Anyway, I think, can you really listen to a man in 2024 with those opinions on women? No.
Okay. Well, I've insulted America. I've insulted Jaguar E-Types. What we on to
And
next?
upset all of Italy, yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
we were going to discuss the next item we had was it was brought up last week when we were discussing about our favourite memories from the Top Gear Grand Tour trio, and pretty much unanimously we all chose road trip episodes, and it became prevalent that we thought we'd discuss. Actually, we had the lucky opportunity to do our own road trip last year through France, and we were just going to sort of talk about our experiences with that. We had you had your Mustang, you had your 147 GTA.
Merde.
I had my AMG A35, and there was lots of jolly japes, wasn't there? I mean,
It was lovely.
We'll break it down sort of obviously we were there for quite a while, but we did the whole journey in 3 days, with a couple overnight stops.
Yeah.
Day one,
You fucked up immediately.
I fucked up immediately.
Yeah,
Let's go meet here.
We
Managed to blast
You
past the
made it
meeting
there.
point.
I did. Just.
He fucking went past at 1 million.
Yeah.
That's it. That's our start point.
Yeah,
wasn't
that was the fuck up to start with.
Yeah,
wasn't it?
and then what do normal people do when they're waiting for a ferry? So you've got your lane number, lane 24, whatever it is.
But sit there, go get a coffee, go check out the Lego shop or random, what's it called? What's it called?
I don't know, something fucking dull, probably.
Thank you.
Duty-free.
Duty free. Thank you. Yeah, that's what we should have been doing. However,
No, because...
I opened my boot, didn't I?
Yeah, because I decided at the last minute, with a lot of miles to cover when we were sat in Dover, that I think a little small toe adjustment on the front right was required.
Yep.
And I knew that he'd taken his trolley jack with him because he's taking a 147 GTA on a 1,000-mile plus
You're gonna
road
need
trip.
some spares and
So he
repairs.
genuinely brought his trolley jack with him in the boot.
Because you never know.
Yeah,
Max-
so essentially what he did was when he was packing his suitcase, went, right, okay, toothpaste, pants, jeans, trolley jack.
Trolley jack.
You're assuming I did it in that order. I went trolley
Trolley
jack,
jack first.
22 mil, 10 mil, 19 mil, socket gun.
And then if there's some room, maybe I'll put some pants in there. as
Maybe.
well.
I could equally buy those.
Toothpaste. Back off.
That mad.
But yeah, no, took full advantage of the fact with that, and so yeah, some small toe adjustments, in
Minor
Dover,
adjustments.
which
Did
was
it help
nice.
though?
No, not really.
No.
As
Don't
became
know what that says about
completely
me.
obvious as we got into Calais and got up to motorway speeds and realised.
It wasn't your toe, was it?
No, it was. I actually had managed to lose a wheel weight, which,
merde.
as you can imagine, with that amount of miles to cover, was a bit concerning. So we had to address that. But actually, before we even got to there,
No. When we got to Calais, you realised you'd lost a wheel weight on that journey where we had to go searching for my fuel that I forgot to put in the car.
yes, yeah. So you can imagine, picture the scene. You're on holiday. You got a big road trip to do. You're landing Calais.
Yeah, there's a lot of miles to
Drive off
cover.
the thing, right, let's get some miles on the belt, let's go for it, and call on the radio, and, oh wait, Max hasn't got any fuel.
Whoops.
Predictable.
I used it all up on the ferry. But on the upside, my car alarm didn't go off
Yes, it did.
once.
Yeah, it's Italian.
Oh.
Yeah. So when we'd finished scouring Calais for some fuel, we hit the road. But there was a lot of miles on day one, wasn't it? But it was mostly just motorway stuff. First overnight stop was in Beaune, where we discovered the joys of being in the Burgundy region with various beef bourguignon and red wine fantasies.
French wine prices. Whoa.
Which is great. Anyway,
Sacre bleu.
keeping back onto cars. Day two was the big day for us because the day two was the day that we'd had this route planned where it was basically through the Alps. Down to our second overnight stop in Gap.
But what happened in the morning, Tim?
As I said, did have a bit of a wheel weight issue, so tried to, went to the local ATS Euromaster in Bern, who were lovely, even though we had a bit of a language barrier issue, managed to, through various hand signals,
Circle, shake.
managed to get across the fact that I think I needed my wheels balancing.
In your best
and thank
French.
you very much for accompanying me whilst everyone else sat around drinking coffee and eating pain au chocolat and croissant.
Yeah, not
so
that we were
thank you,
jealous.
Henry, for actually coming to help me with that one. Anyway, we got back on the road. They did actually do a solid job, and it was
Shout out to ATS and Bone.
yeah.
Legends.
My man.
Although I'm pretty sure at one point you probably asked him if you could repair your bacon spaceship.
Yeah. Turning to the right.
French is not the best.
Anyway,
But before we did leave, though, do you remember when the articulated lorry pulled up and just dumped a couple of monster trucks off?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, that was cool.
Yeah.
Because
yeah,
why
just in the
not?
middle of Bone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Just
there was
dumped
like
off a couple of monster trucks.
One dolly trailer with a
Yeah.
monster
Mad.
truck on the side of the road, and then just up the road, a monster truck.
I'd
just
imagine he was going for lunch.
Probably, yeah. I mean,
It was getting to that time of day, wasn't it?
one of them was literally left on the middle of a roundabout.
It was, yeah.
Can you imagine doing that in the UK? Within 5 minutes, some Nazi with a clipboard will turn up and say, "Oh, your car has been parked here illegally. I'm
Can't
going
park
to give
there,
you a
mate."
ticket." Over there, just dump a monster truck on a roundabout.
Yeah.
Fine, not
I
a problem.
get you're advertising your business, but does C-section cover this whole fucking paragraph about where and when you can safely leave it? No, sorry, I went into rant mode there. So let's
No,
move
in
on.
France he
Let's
just
move
wanted to
on.
go for lunch and just thought, well, I'm not taking
Course,
the
of
monster
course,
trucks.
yeah.
Can't take the monster trucks to lunch, so I'll just drop them here, pick them up later.
Yeah, and if someone did come along, he'll go, "Why are you leaving your monster truck on a roundabout?" And he'll just go, "It's a monster truck." And he'll go, "Yeah, fair enough."
Yeah. I love the French attitude towards things. I just love how relaxed and laid back they were,
Especially
and they were
with
so
motorsport
lovely the whole
stuff,
time we
innit?
were there. Actually, but I think just
wonderful
dropping your
people.
monster trucks off in the middle of a sleepy village town is definitely up there with random things you never thought you'd ever see. But
But it says all you need to know at the same time.
But anyway, we got cracking on the Alp Pass, and
Nommy.
it just was the gift that kept on giving. You know, it was beautiful at the bottom, it was beautiful halfway up, and even towards the top. And the roads were just amazing driving roads,
Weren't
and
they just?
just carried on getting more and more beautiful. We stopped off for a beer halfway up.
Underneath an
And-
actual glacier.
It's- yeah, on
slash
an actual
mountain.
glacier. But just absolutely fantastic, and honestly, just memories made for life, which I'll never forget. And I think all of the cars that we brought at the time, all came into their own on that
One
moment.
way or another, they're all fab, weren't
I remember
they?
there was this moment because obviously the outpass we were on. Forgive me, I can't remember the name of the road, but it was sort of littered with tunnels along the way.
There was many tunnels.
And it was just this beautiful cacophony with the windows down of, depending on which formation we were driving in,
Yeah.
was, the sort of tenor of the V8 going through the tunnel. His
It was
sort
bass, mid, and treble, wasn't it?
Yeah.
bass, mid, and
yeah,
treble, because you had the sort of trumpety, sonorous
Wah.
nature of the V6.
Yeah.
And then the artillery fire of the A35.
Yeah, your machine guns kicking over the top,
which
yeah.
didn't really add any tune to it, but
they added something.
yeah, it was
Yeah, over the
some
top.
sort of Ride of the Valkyries moment to it. But no, honestly, just fantastic, and the overwhelming feeling of freedom during that day, and
Wasn't
we
it?
got a bit emotional actually coming back down.
Very
didn't
Yeah, it was
we?
fucking chill, wasn't it? It was
Once we
fucking great.
reached the peak and we'd made our way down, and the sun was starting to set on that day, and we'd come back down the Alp, and we were making our way across this massive bridge.
Yeah, across
Towards
a big
Gap.
reservoir, I think, from memory.
And just sort of quite acutely aware that what we've done today was just once in a lifetime. Well, not necessarily once in a lifetime, but a very rare thing to do,
Yeah.
and to be able to enjoy it with your mates as well in
That's
cars
the main
that
thing.
we all loved, and it was
Can't recommend
fantastic.
it enough. Honestly, I don't think it would matter what cars we were all in. It was the moments all together, doing that kind of thing with your favourite people around you, experiencing somewhere like that. The cars is, cherry on top. We all loved what we had. Equally, we all could have been in like Robins, and we still would have had an absolute laugh doing it. So I think the main essence is that thing that we always loved about Grand Tour Top Gear, capturing that moment, three mates out all together, adventuring somewhere. Sometimes it goes perfectly, and then the next moment, oh mad, the Alpha's lights have come on, oh mad, we've run out of fuel, we're stopping again. But let's pull over here, let's have a beer here. Look at that view, man.
And having the
Awesome.
walkie-talkies as well, I think that
Yeah, that
added
makes it all part of it.
such an important element
Absolutely
to the trip.
does.
That moment where you turn around, this beautiful corner, and you got this massive drop, and you see like another massive Alp looming in the distance, and you just hear the radio going, "Have you seen that?"
Yeah.
It's what?
Yeah, or in 20 metres, I reckon we're going to catch up with that caravan.
Well, that's the thing. That's the thing. The talking did stop, didn't it, for a bit when the roads got particularly challenging.
It was very quiet.
But just so much fun. I learned so much about my car. I don't know about you two. But I learned so much about my car.
Heavy and wide.
Yeah. But there's a great shot.
I remember that as well.
There's a great shot, I think, from inside your car of like sort of chasing my car round a section of the Alp, and I just remember having such a great time. You know, we weren't doing anything particularly dangerous. We were driving very much within our limits.
100%.
But what the road was, the inputs that the road was requiring from you at that time was just so engaging. One thing I learned about my car personally was just how capable it was. You know, we were all the way up an Alp. And I was throwing this car into the bend, and just, you know, the front end would follow it would just follow so nicely, and that traction coming out, especially all those hairpins and stuff. Brakes were getting a little bit peachy by the end of the day.
Oh, your brakes are getting peachy, my engine was getting peachy.
Yeah, mine were getting very fadey.
Yeah.
But I do recall one moment in particular that was probably one of the highlights of that whole section that we was driving. And I've actually got this on video. We'll put it in post for everyone who's watching. And wow, my darling wife, who was riding shotgun in the car, she was filming out of the passenger side of the car. You know, on this side there was a huge drop. It was absolutely beautiful, wasn't it? But up ahead there was this massive, wide, sweeping hairpin turn, and just out of shot, Mr. Weatherly here pulls the mother of all handbrake turns. Which, if there was anybody in the Alps at the time, or shall I say any women in the Alps at the time, you would have made them all immediately pregnant.
Oh yeah.
Because it was a textbook handbrake turn, so good that the smell of burning rubber was actually coming through the aircon in the car. And I was giggling, laughing, which you'll unfortunately hear on the clip that we show in post, immediately preceded, or followed rather, by me saying, "Fucking hell, look at that." Fucking hell, look at that.
But it looked like you were looking at the view.
Because the scenery was just so incredible.
It was just incredible.
It was
A
amazing.
whole lot of it. I couldn't wait for a tunnel to just hit your car again. There was definitely points it was just lift off, wait.
Sounded like the end of
Here comes the
world,
thunder.
didn't it? I've got to say though, we got to do a shout out to someone, because you know, we did all have our respective cars, but we had an excellent pace car.
Oh, we did have an excellent
Oh,
pace
and the
car.
amount of fuel he didn't use. That was quite
sickening, wasn't it?
Well,
It was
absolutely
annoying.
was.
Yeah.
We're all very similar though, weren't we? Like filling up at fuel stations was relatively similar for all of us.
Disturbingly so, yeah.
Apart from him with his,
Mostly.
you know, I've still got basically 3/4 of a tank, and we're having to fill up again.
Yeah, well, no, Henry
Thanks,
and I
pace
were
car.
quite well matched on fuel.
I was
Yeah.
a little bit more, but only because I lost the cylinder at one point.
Not you though.
Well, no.
You
No.
basically got a thimble for a petrol. Well, actually, no, it's about the same size as our cars, but it just.
Mine's
used
exactly
it.
the same tank as his.
Yeah.
I just munch it more, especially when it's down to 5, not 6.
Well, let's not get bogged down by that bit.
But shout out to our pace car and all-round fantastic chap, Mr. Richard Weatherly Senior, for being the ultimate pace car in his Tiguan
Yeah, he
R
could take
on the
anything
day,
and
which
do all right with
was, you know, to say he's handy behind the wheel is doing him a disservice.
60, care, long right 6 into slot, square left. Slot square left here. 60, left 4 and right 5.
But
Understatement.
yes, he has. He's raced with some pretty good people.
Some names.
I'm sure we'll.
Some
I'm
names
sure we'll-
people may know.
I'm sure we'll
because they
gloss
would.
over that. Well, not gloss over that. I'm sure we'll get on
Do
to
it
that.
another day.
I'm sure we'll post a little clip of him in the Fiesta for those people that are maybe not aware of the name, but he is quite handy.
Yes, indeed, and fantastic pace car on the day, which just made the convoy all the more special, I think. But
Maybe we'll get him on sometime. He likes beer and he's easily confused by things like electric cars, like we are.
Oh,
so
yeah.
probably make
This
a-
is true.
Yeah,
Indeed.
probably make a good guest, I think.
So the outpass unfortunately came to an end, and we came to our overnight stop in Gap, and then overnight, Gremlins.
Yeah, my car decided to go wafty. That's the end of that. And then we made it all the way to the south of France. It was a lovely holiday, wasn't it? And then we went all the way back, and that's the end of that story.
Not-
It wasn't quite that simple, was
Really
it?
is. Okay, we went around a bit of France, going from garage to garage, some of them being Fiat ones, some of them being those joint ones with its Fiat and then it's also Alpha, and you think, oh, Alpha Garage, brilliant, that's the combo I'm looking for. Oh, and then there's a Jeep and Chrysler section, and Hyundai, weirdly, wasn't there? That's when we saw that I-20N, wasn't
I
it?
think so. Yeah.
But I
it was
just
a
remember,
weird
you,
garage,
I
that
remember
one.
you trying to explain through the medium of Google Translate.
Yes, because that works.
That your Alpha was down to 5 cylinders and it wasn't working properly.
At that point, didn't know it was 5 cylinders. It was more engine.
Yeah.
Merde.
So a man you've never seen before, you've never met before, and you didn't speak any of his language. He got into your car, took it away round the back.
He did.
And then brought it back and was just
did
like...
the same back to me.
No.
Merde.
No. Merde.
Merde.
So we had two options at that point. Option one was to leave your car in the middle
Somewhere
of
in the middle of France.
Or option two was to carry on down to Saint-Tropez.
She carried on. She was a soldier.
Yes.
She grit her teeth and beeped at me the entire way, but
Yeah.
she made it.
And then when we got to Saint-Tropez, obviously beautiful, we had a hilarity trying to park, which you and I tried to park. Max, what did you do?
I bailed, ran away, and went, my engine's too hot, and my turning circle is 12 metres, run away, put me on an A road,
So
I'm
we ran
overheating,
away.
run away.
So he ran away to the villa that we were staying at in Cannes,
That was nice.
and left us all to sort of catch up with him later.
Yeah.
Just one of the most fantastic experiences driving through. And the
can't
further
recommend it
south we
enough.
got, the weather got more and more incredible. The scenery along, because you've buggered off because you didn't want to.
You greeted us at the villa
you did,
with a
but
sombrero on, which
Henry
was
and I
brilliant.
actually did the coastal drive. I think it's the D57. Correct me if I'm
Something
wrong.
like that. Yeah, it was basically a rally stage, wasn't
No,
it? We
it's
went.
on the
I remember
road.
driving through like a vineyard, and then all of
Yeah.
a sudden it got a little bit like a Spanish rally
Yeah,
stage.
it was really dusty, like
but there was like
orangey,
an
wasn't it?
Alpine
Yeah.
Pass bit in there. It was
Oh,
like
that
a greatest
bit.
hits.
Yes.
Yeah,
I was talking about the from between Saint-Tropez to Cannes when he
Yeah.
buggered off.
Yeah.
There was the coastal
Coastal road, he's talking about.
that was on the way
I was
to
thinking about the dusty
Sancho.
road bit with you.
I get confused. There's so much.
There's so many
greatness.
good roads.
How
But yeah,
do
you guys
distinguish
did the
it all?
coastal road, and I just
Yeah,
went A road.
and it was like the picturesque archetypal Riviera coastal road that just literally we didn't deviate from it, we didn't turn off and just went through, and just this wonderful experience of watching my mate in his V8 annoy pretty much everybody through these sleepy
because there's a lot of peds as well. And you're
through
wide.
these sleepy Riviera towns as we are making our way to Cannes. But wonderful memories, wonderful road trip.
Oh, it was fab,
no
wasn't it?
matter how much I annoyed the general public with my slightly loud V8,
I found it hilarious. It was
I think it's
brilliant.
brilliant.
it wasn't quite as annoying as Lorry Man / Caravan Man
On the Col de Torini-like road.
the Caldertrini type bit, which was on the way to Saint-Tropez, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was the last section, wasn't it?
I
That
think-
was so depressing.
I mean, the
It was
roads-
beautiful, but it was
It was
very...
gorgeous up until that we got held up by, I think it was a German Peugeot, wasn't it? From memory.
Yeah, he had a couple cars or something on the back. didn't
With
he?
the caravan.
Yeah.
I think in hindsight, it was a blessing in disguise because if I remember
Do you
rightly,
remember we did him at the roundup? That was really cool. Over the walkie-talkies, all going.
Do
Right,
him,
I'll
do him,
block
do
him on this lane. You come round on this side.
now's your opportunity. It's all
good.
single track roads from that bit of road going down through south of France towards Saint-Tropez is all single track road. I mean, gorgeous roads, really
It was
technically
glorious.
challenging though, like really, really tight.
So
and
glorious.
so I actually think it's a blessing in disguise because leading up to that point,
It could
we
have
were
been.
Quite exuberant.
We were getting a little bit more exuberant,
Yeah.
and then the roads got really very cliffy,
Yeah.
very droppy offy.
I was more worried about
Yeah.
his car than anybody's. He's quite wide.
Suddenly
Yeah.
having a safety pace car in the form of a truck.
Well, I don't know. I
was,
think at some
was all
points
right.
he was convinced he was actually
He
doing the
did
rally
get
Monte
on with it
Carlo.
at certain points, though. There was a certain point I was like, respect.
It was-
But equally,
it was
get out
pulling-
the fucking way.
It was pulling away from the caravan. That's for
well,
sure.
yeah, true.
Yeah,
It was, yeah. I mean, I do remember one bit though that sticks out in my memory from that little bit.
Yeah.
Is when I think we've got some footage of this actually.
Oh, yeah,
we was
yeah.
driving through that bit. I think we was behind the caravan at that point, and you got on the radio and said, "Oh look, there's an Alfa Romeo Mito to the right," and it was parked.
Oh, it was
on
parked on the right on the cliff edge,
the
wasn't
precipice
it?
of.
Yeah.
Let's be honest, it was a cliff, wasn't it? And you said maybe I should give it a gentle nudge.
Well, it was tempting to swap it over, but equally he had the wrong engine in it, and he is a Punto underneath. which-
Indeed. And if by some magic coincidence the person who owns that car is watching, I'm sorry.
It wasn't us. We didn't do it. We thought about it.
But we didn't push your car off the cliff, so
Your own lack of handbrake control.
get over it.
I've been there and done that.
So
myself.
obviously we had a great time. We'd love to do another road trip. If you've got any ideas for us as to, because we'd actually really like to sort of film it, do cameras in cars, do it properly with
with
the
my car
walkie-talkies.
actually working. Hopefully.
Well, maybe not. It'd be quite funny.
It'd be a different problem.
So give us some ideas. If there's a particular road trip that you'd like us to see us do, or you'd like to see on the channel, we'd love to know what you think. We've got a few ideas ourselves, including another Alp down through to Italy, where if you do take your car back to its natural home,
it might not spit its dummy out.
not spit its dummy out this time.
Yeah.
But
Definitely cried when
You've
it
got
saw
a
the
theory
Italy
on
sign.
this.
well,
why
I
his
do
car
have a
played
theory.
up.
I reckon the reason why it decided to spit its dummy out on day 2 is because the Alp we were on that preceding day, we got so close to the Italian border.
Yeah, it said
there were
Milano.
signs. There was Milano was that way, and then we turned right.
No, 100%
And
agree.
drove away from Milan, and I just think she just threw a wobbly because she thought she was going home.
And that night, all of a sudden, the engine light comes on. It's not a coincidence. No,
She
wanted to go
thought
home.
she was
She
going
wanted to go
home, and
Yeah.
you didn't take her
I
home.
didn't take her there. She spat her dummy out. We fell out the next morning. Then she started shouting at me. I argued back. Blah blah blah. That was the rest of our trip.
Which is understandable, right? Because you think your car was supplied to Japan originally, and it came back to the UK when you bought it.
Yes.
So it's not had a chance to go back to Italy since it
No,
was born there. So
no.
you imagine if you was of, let's say, Italian descent, and you've always dreamed about going to visit your native homeland, and someone says to you, "We're going to Italy," and you're all excited. You get in the car, and it turns out you're going to Scarborough.
Yeah.
That's going to piss you off, isn't it?
No, agreed. And
No
also, it's
offence
18 years old. It wants
listening
its
to
gap
anyone
year,
listening
doesn't
who
it?
is from
So-
Scarborough.
I've insulted the North, haven't I?
Oh, I did that earlier with the wall. Don't worry about it.
Henry
Just put it on me.
apologises.
Oh, okay.
No, don't worry about it.
So we will try and do another road trip. If we did, what cars would you do?
I mean, what, in our current situation?
money, no object. If we could do
Caterham. Where are we going?
you want to take a Caterham?
Where are we going? If you say Peterborough, I'm not so interested.
Well, no, through Europe, down to Italy.
Caterham.
Down to Italy. Let's
Caterham.
do a Calais to
What
Naples.
month of the year is it?
What?
What month of the year is it?
Well, it's summer, obviously.
Well, Caterham then.
That's your important question. Never
Yeah,
mind
well,
the
if-
catering's
I don't wanna
got
go in
no
December, do
fucking
I?
room for
Yeah.
anything.
I only have me, don't I? A little rucksack, that'll do me.
Max, you're not taking a caterum on a road trip.
Definitely will.
Think of the tan you'd get.
Exactly.
Wow.
Right? Think of the hairpins. Oh, my God.
I don't know if the Italians even know what a Caterham is, do they?
I don't care. I wouldn't care. I mean, admittedly, the ideal, I think we both agree on, is something Italian and purist and lovely, admittedly.
I would love to do if we were truly
If we're
ending
going
up
Italy.
in Italy. I'd love to take a Giulia Quadrifoglio, the GTA one specifically, and I'll tell you why. But not only is it the high performance version, but high performance version of the high performance car. But
just fab.
because they took all the back seats out.
But left the back doors there.
But left the back doors there. It's perfect.
So
you get
Italian.
more stuff in there around the roll
Caterham's
cage.
got a boot. You can either put a spare wheel in it or it's space.
I think the word boot is doing some very heavy lifting there.
Yeah, it's like that basket in the corner over there.
That's being unfair to that basket.
Yeah,
frankly.
100% it is.
I'm sorry, if you're taking a car on a road
hello.
trip, it's got to fulfil a certain criteria. If you're going on a road trip, you're going to be spending quite a lot of time driving and in a car.
Yeah.
So therefore, it's got to be comfortable.
Yep.
It's got to be a nice place to be. The Caterham is not a nice place to
It's
be.
an amazing place to be.
No, I'll tell you.
Nothing in there.
Exactly, it's
I'll tell you what
perfect.
happened. If he takes a Caterham down to Naples, obviously he'll get a great tan, as we discussed. But
Yeah.
more importantly than that, we'll get to Naples, get out, and I'll say to you, or say to you both, should we go to the bar? And you're going to go, what?
Huh?
Huh?
I'm sorry, I've been next to an exhaust for the last 10 hours. What are you talking about?
I haven't got any tar.
And also, crucially, when we arrive at our destination, wherever it may be, we're both going to get out the car feeling quite relaxed, quite happy about the lovely drive. The valet at the hotel, on the basis the hotel's got a valet,
Oh, yeah.
they're going to open a door of his Caterham, and out of the Caterham is going to fall some soggy, organic, boneless mess.
I'm sorry.
Much like a jellyfish or Jabba the Hutt, you're just going to fall out of the car because you've got no spine left. Everything has turned to dust.
This all may be true. However, open the door.
Okay, all right, yeah, you got me there.
Pull me out of the top is what you actually mean.
Okay, the footwell was going to be filled of some like
Liquid
jelly
goo. Yeah.
mess.
My skin basically is falling off.
There's going to be nothing distinguishable as a Max in there still.
Still be a smile on my face though. Just saying.
Right, so stupidly you're going to take a Caterham.
Oh,
I'm
great.
taking a
You'll-
GTA,
you
and will
will
be
see it.
adored and loved by the
You will-
locals.
yeah, I agree.
What are you taking?
That is a good choice.
Well, because I'm correct and I'm the.
I think
apparently-
he's got it pretty
I'm-
spot on.
Can't be
Well,
more correct.
yeah, to be
You
fair,
can't be more correct than that.
I can't disagree.
A330 Alpha, that's the only other thing. You know, the prototype from the old school 60s version.
Oh, well-
It's a hypothetical car, but
No, because I'd actually like to get there, to be honest.
yeah, it looks fab. It's a hypothetical anyway. Mid-engine rear-wheel drive version.
Yes.
Pretty as fuck. I'm not even sure if it's called an A330, by the way.
Okay, well, are you ready for the correct decision now?
Okay, go on then.
I thought I already got it right.
It's the Bentley Continental V8S, particularly the Azure edition.
I mean, yes, but equally, you German boring bastard.
No, it's not boring. It's got the most beautiful interior of any car on sale today. I will
it's nice.
die
Don't
on
disagree
that
with
hill.
that. Yeah, don't disagree.
It's got a whacking great V8
Does
in
the
it.
sat-nav automatically take you to the Milano Stadium to do some football?
It takes you to Stuttgart.
It probably does, in all fairness. But the beautiful thing about the Continental...
Oh, you must be a footballer, sir. Here, please take. I've already put the sat-nav in to the stadium.
Turns out you're the goalkeeper.
Yes, but here's the thing. On the Continental's dash, you can press a little button and it reverses the display, so you've got 3 analog dials
I
there.
wondered what you were going to say there. It pushes a button and a couple of signs saying, "I'm not a footballer."
Push the backlight.
I mean, to be fair, it does need that feature as well, because I'll admit it's a footballer's car.
No.
It's right, we'll get you a hat. A nice big pimp hat with a feather.
Get you a nice West Ham shirt.
Crucially,
Oh, yes, can we?
Turn up in Naples in there.
but beautiful interior, big V8. I wouldn't have the W12 because you get the V8, you got a better soundtrack. You don't lose that much in the real world in terms of power and speed.
No.
It sounds better. It's a V8. It's got less weight at the front, so it's going to be much more fun in the twisty bits when you do go to and out.
Much more fun.
It's got a V8 in it. I actually went on the Bentley website the other day. I did configure my absolute perfect spec.
And it was how much?
I didn't go to that bit. I didn't
Oh,
want to
okay.
look.
Just looked at the
but
shininess.
I shall put a picture of it up in post. It's in Cumbrian green with linen interior. None of the horrible footballer bits on it. It looks
Sure.
perfect.
It will look like a tanker next
So
to my
when
Caterham.
we arrive at the hotel and the concierge comes out, he's fallen out or he's been
Or-
lifted
or
out
part
by a
of-
jellyfish, whether some sort of low loader. And I've just got out normally, and the fans
Look, and everyone's gonna
people
love
are just
you.
loving me and everything.
Yeah.
And you're going to go out and just say, "See that ludicrous display last night?
What was Henry thinking getting a Bentley?
Give me a fucking cup of tea,
That's not how you make it, son.
Well, no,
bloody foreign muck."
You're proud of your choice now, yeah?
Well, you be careful with the Bentley, son.
yeah, but the thing is, he's gone and insulted an entire continent.
It's all right. It's all forgiven because he's got an Alpha in Italy. He'll be fine.
But anyway,
he can
yeah.
literally say whatever he wanted.
The concierge is not going to say any of those comments because I would have arrived in a
They'll be gifting me
Maserati
red
Gran Turismo.
They're not going to actually let you out. You do realise that. They're going to open the back door up thinking the person that actually wanted to get out is already in the back.
Yeah, but I'm going to be in a Gran Turismo.
Oh, well.
I've just decided I'm going to be in a Gran Turismo.
I've just
instead.
remembered I really want a Maserati Gran Turismo as well, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, good point. Yeah.
I mean, we might.
I think that's the one
not
thing
get
we can
there.
all agree on.
Do you know you can get a Maserati Gran Turismo now? I saw one on Auto Trader
Yeah.
in the correct colour,
Yeah.
correct engine, correct gearbox.
What's the correct colour out of interest?
Oh, well, like that dark blue. That,
Oh, yeah. Okay.
I don't know
Yeah.
what-
Maserati dark blue.
yeah,
kind of
yeah.
thing,
And lovely spec, lovely interior, like 37, 38 grand.
Trade in.
That's
I mean, it might
bargain of the
swap the
century.
I don't know if
isn't
it'll work or not, but
Swap the Merc over. You'll be the happiest week of your life.
shall I get a Maserati? No.
And my Alpha's still around, and it's been a year now.
Yeah.
I think we should get Maseratis. I mean, if you're out there and you drive like a Nissan Qashqai, just sell it. Go and buy a Gran Turismo. Stop being a fucking idiot.
Can anyone in the comments
Stop
try and
ruining
put
our
me off
lives.
the idea? That would be great.
And stop getting in our way.
Yeah. Stop it.
Stop it.
Stop it. Anyway, so that's that. We've got just enough time today
Do we?
to cover grind my cams.
Bit of ranting.
This will be a regular segment, and
And we're not sure
every
all the time.
episode we will
Oh.
be.
We're all good.
And
Harry said we're good.
We've got 10 minutes of ranting.
10 minutes. Right, let's condense
I'm
this.
a bit low on beer.
Right,
though.
hang on.
Max, could you do me a favour
Yes,
and get
please.
me a bottle of the beer that's made by a motoring journalist / farmer that definitely isn't Hawkston? Please?
Yes. Could I also have a definitely not a Hawkstone as well, please? Thank you. No, what grinds our cams this week? It was touched on last week as a potential subject, but it does actually follow on really nicely from our road trip sort of stories, driving through France, etc., where we were treated to fantastic lane etiquette driving on the motorway.
Oh, it's higher
And
standard.
it makes you realise that coming back to the UK, we know it's bad anyway, with the middle lane pandemic that we've got, or the fast lane I'm completely oblivious pandemic. Just actually how bad it is, because when you spend any amount of time driving in France or Germany or anything like that, oh my God, like it's like a different world, like, you know. And so that is, ladies and gentlemen, what grinds our cams this week.
It is.
Fucking use the fucking lanes properly.
I know. It's not just pick whatever lane you fancy.
Oh, I like this one. I'll stick with this one.
Yeah, even when there's absolutely fuck all in
Bronzy
the
agrees.
other two lanes. Oh, hello,
Darling.
podcast dog.
Hello, podcast dog. Yeah, it is, and you know, we've touched on. Okay, middle laners. Okay, I actually think hopefully there's a clip that I can share, or we can put in post. Hello, gorgeous. There's a clip in post that we can add of one of those cop crash motorway kill programs that they have in Britain, where a policeman actually pulls over somebody who's been sat in the middle lane too long, and the guy genuinely has no idea what he's done. And I think this is half the problem. It isn't ignorance why people are sitting in the middle lane. Maybe it is.
Well, thank you.
I think it's just complete cluelessness.
They just have no idea what they're doing.
I'll put the post, if it hasn't already played, the post of the guy, when questioned by the policeman officer about why he's been pulled over, he genuinely has no idea. He's like, was I speeding? Or I can't remember what he says, but
That's worrying.
totally
isn't
clueless.
it?
And that shows me that it isn't just ignorance. It isn't just, oh, I fancy this lane.
It's lack of education, isn't it? Let's be honest.
It's actually a lack of awareness.
Agreed.
It's a total lack of awareness. And that's worrying, because if you've got that little awareness and you're in charge of 1.5 tons of fucking metal and you're literally that clueless as to whereabouts your car is on the road, what hope have you got of, like, doing other important bits of the driving, like stopping in time and all that kind of stuff?
exactly.
And I know it annoys you. You were following someone. You go up to the north recently on the A1 and
Yeah, so
Came across all this, didn't you?
Went to Blighton Park for a test day, and which is basically Sheffield, for all those people who didn't know. And we're obviously down in Kent, so all the way around the M25 and then M1, A1, M11 factor.
My condolences.
Yeah, thank you very much. When you're in the Essex department of the M11, it's Fiestas. It's pretty standard across the board for drivers. You're all
Nissan Cash
just-
cunts as well.
Yeah, well, Cash guys, Evokes, Range Rover Discos. You get your occasional Merc, Beamer, Audi. Audi's not too bad nowadays. I think we're all aware of that. The Beamer factor, it depends on
the
what
X5s,
model.
they're always in it. The X5s
Then, I personally haven't experienced it. However, Vauxhall Corsas, Astras, you're all a bunch of wankers. You can all go fuck off. It's particularly you executive bunch who purposely pick for your company car a Vauxhall Insignia. Go fuck off.
Sometimes they don't
Just
get a choice.
dig a hole and jump in it, and then let someone, your mate, to bury the top in.
Alternatively, they could get the what, Tim?
Oh, he's gone, I think. Come back to him in a minute.
I just can't believe how many people we've offended.
Oh,
this
whatever.
episode. It's only
They're
episode
not
2.
people that deserve your respect. You shouldn't care what they think. But the main surprising part was when I got above the Watford Gap services, where we should put the wall divide for the north factor. as previously expressed, and still hold it strong. Maybe a bit of Cambridge and like Oxford should come into that wall part, and then go across to the south of Wales. But then apart from that, leave it all there.
Can I just say we love the north? We don't. We love you.
No,
we love your roads.
I'm there all the time. However, you Golf TDI drivers up there, good lord, fucking pay attention to what's going on. 4 lanes, you're sitting in the outside lane or the second lane, you're just sitting there doing 73 miles an hour going, well, no one else can be going quicker than that. That's kind of not the point. There's an emergency services guy coming up behind in his ambulance, police car, whatever. You're still sat there until the lastminute.com, and he's had to back off from 130 to get to saving someone's life, and he's now stuck behind you. What are you doing there?
That's what I mean. It's the lack of awareness is what I was talking about. It's whether you're stuck in the fast lane or the middle lane. Don't get me wrong, there is an element of ignorance, but it is lack of awareness,
No,
and
it's a lack of awareness.
It just makes you worry. Like you say, if
Therefore,
emergency
judgment
services are coming up behind you, and if you still have failed to move out of the way, then there's just no hope. And I think it should be, just to round this rant off, because it doesn't just annoy us. I know it annoys so many people.
I think.
You probably watching at home also probably really annoys you as well.
Any decent driver will annoy.
It's such an easy thing to do, like use the lanes properly.
It's not difficult.
But it's fundamentally, I think it comes from a lack of tuition. Obviously, if you're watching this outside of the UK, I don't know if it's the same in your country, but in the UK, you're not actually taught unless you do like the Pass Plus once you've passed your driving test.
And even then, they don't tell you properly in there.
But even then,
that's a nation.
But you don't actually go on you don't go on a motorway. You've never driven on a motorway until you've technically passed your test, unless you've done the Pass Plus. And I think that's wrong. I think it's such an issue, and it creates so many problems in terms of traffic, accidents,
agreed.
Just generally pissing people off. It should be part of learning to drive in your driving test is lane etiquette. I mean, if you agree, please feel free to agree with this in the comments, or if for some reason you disagree, get the bus.
Well, you're wrong. Yeah, exactly. Fuck off.
Yeah.
Indeed. Tying on neatly to our France road trip, when we went over there, the standard of lane etiquette was
just fabulous. Overtake something, get back straight back in.
This is what I mean. It puts it in perspective, doesn't
Go
it?
past
Move
it,
out.
come back in, go in.
And they move over straight away, even if there's like a 3-inch gap between the car.
We
they're
all did it.
militant.
We were all doing it in the end. We all felt bad not doing it, didn't we?
France, we love you.
We
You're
absolutely
well
love
done.
you. Fucking
Absolutely
mecca
love
of
your
it.
standard driving.
It was hard.
Absolute honour and a pleasure to be driving on your roads.
Yeah, and also set light to the speed cameras. We're with you.
Yeah. This is the thing, because we were being very conscientious, I think, on the roads there. But so much so that we were sticking to the speed limits for a short time anyway. And I kind of realised when somebody in an Audi came flying up behind me at
doing 77 miles an hour.
Oh yeah, the Starship Enterprise.
the Starship
doing
came up behind me,
130 kilometres
and
an hour.
I felt bad because I thought, I seem to have, I've put a downer on that chap's day.
That Audi-
I've inconvenienced him because I was doing an overtake, but within the speed limit. And
80K
if anything,
back then,
thank you to that man, because although I may have mildly inconvenienced your day, you did also show us at that time that it's not true about France and speed limits. It turns out you could do 245 miles an hour the entire way.
That Audi broke the sound barrier when it went past.
Yeah, it did.
I saw the cloud on the front of it.
So it helped us for the rest of our journey throw a bit of caution to the wind, shall we say. We're getting the sound. We're getting the signal from the sound engineer that we need to start wrapping things up.
Hold on, I'm not done yet.
Yeah, you've got 5.
Allow me to continue for a little bit, if I may.
We got 5.
I just want to finish on this. So, going back to lane etiquette once again. In the UK, when you've got a lane closed on a motorway, dual carriageway, whatever.
Are we talking about smart roadways with the red cross on top?
Not necessarily. This is just when they close a lane off.
Right,
You have to move over to
or a
the
merge
closed
lane.
And they usually put a sign up saying 800 yards, and it will say lane closed, right?
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Now, the UK Highway Code dictates that you use both lanes and you move over basically whenever you want, even if it means at the last 2
Minute.com
seconds
and
when
fuck all the traffic flow.
it's usually a twat in an Audi that can't be bothered to wait and will
Audi's back on the table.
speed up the outside lane, and they'll pull over with about 3 inches to spare of where the lane closes. Now, you can do that because the Highway Code says it's all right. I've always thought that's completely wrong. I think it causes bottlenecks, it causes congestion, and
they'll be jumping in the comments now.
some ways particularly dangerous. Yeah, go and bicker in the comments. I don't care. You're wrong. We went to France, and
Same things all the time, wasn't it? Yeah, there was loads of them.
when there was a lane closed, not that there was many closed, because when they done roadworks, they actually completed
Did it
them
properly,
and opened it again. And people would move over instantaneously into the lane that was remaining open.
Well, whether there's a gap, didn't they? Keep the flow of traffic going.
Did we encounter any traffic or stoppages as a
Traffic
result
jam?
of that?
No, I don't think I at any point went below 30 miles per hour. That is.
It's a better system.
We literally covered the quite literal length of France, from Calais to Saint-Tropez.
I think on the
and
second
we
day, I
did
don't
not.
think I went below 60.
No.
The only time we ever encountered a traffic jam, I think, was on the way back when we went through the centre of Lyon.
Yeah.
And
Oh, yeah,
it took
sure.
us 20 minutes to drive
Yeah,
across
you
the
imagine
centre
getting
of
through
the city.
You imagine getting through London in that time.
No, you're going to be spending 2 hours behind someone in a Prius and then
Yeah,
a
in the
man
same
on a
bit of road.
scooter. will
Sod
knock
London,
someone over.
you can't even go along the M20 to Maidstone
But
without
like
getting stuck in
Canterbury or
traffic.
something, isn't it?
Yeah.
Exactly. And we done a city in 20 minutes
Yeah, I know.
because
Yeah.
the lanes are conducted properly and the drivers conduct themselves properly.
That's
you,
the main
France.
thing. I think that's the main thing. The drivers conduct themselves properly.
So basically-
when there's a gap, they go into it. Even if there's 150 metres before they even get to the part where the merge happens, there's a gap. I can go into that, and the flow of traffic will carry on. That's just etiquette.
Indeed.
It's just being considerate, and that's just having awareness and judgment of the situation you're in.
Yeah.
Which over here doesn't exist.
So basically, to summarise, UK Highway Code, sort your shit out. It's wrong. It's better how the French do it.
I also think our licence to get one should be more difficult.
Yes.
I think it should be more like the Finnish one. We've got a lot more higher population condensity, higher populace per area of square foot, let's say.
Yeah.
So therefore, we have more road users, and we still got old school rules. So therefore, our test should be more difficult to get onto the road to start with.
Yeah.
Because at the moment, the amount of, when you see someone with a P plate, for example,
No.
like, what the hell is that about? Like, that is just saying, I fluked my test and I don't really feel like I should belong on this road. Please be aware of me, I'm still a bit sketch.
The P plate is the equivalent of turning up to your first day of school with your backpack up all the way to the top and your shirt tucked in
Yeah.
and a long tie.
And then going to the headmaster complaining you got bullied. It's your own fault.
Yeah.
You might as well just write "abuse me" on the back of the car. Same conclusion.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, I think that pretty much wraps it up for today.
Was that nice? Yeah, cool.
Thank you very much for tuning in
Cherry on
to
top,
episode 2 of Flat in Fifth. Very much hope to see you on next one. We've got so much that we want to cover over the next few episodes, including we will finally introduce you to Jeff. He's just on his way back from Japan, having been part of that Mazda meeting to bring back the rotary engine.
Yeah.
He'll be back hopefully for episode 3. But yeah, thanks once again. If you've liked what you've heard today, if you've enjoyed it, please do give us a like, a comment, subscribe, a share, whatever you got to do. You can also, I think, jump on our Buzzsprout, watch this or listen to this podcast on audio on all main platforms, and support the channel if you'd like with a small donation. It'll help us upgrade all this equipment and all that jazz. But anyway, thank you very, very much. And it's from me, Tim. Good night.
Thanks, Internet.
Cheers. See you next time.
Ta. This Hawkston isn't Hawkston.
Au revoir.